Hello everyone. Today we are talking about SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. Some people like to think of it as the practice of getting your website's pages to rank in Google. So if you want to know more about the why and the how behind doing SEO for your therapy website, stick around and let's talk. Today, my guest is Jeff Guenther. Jeff is the co-founder of the Practice Academy, where he teaches healthcare workers how to ethically and effectively build and grow their practices. A mental health therapist himself, Jeff is informed by his own successful private practice experience. Inspired to help other therapists be found online, Jeff also created Portland's #1 mental health directory and more recently has launched an alternative healthcare directory as well. Jeff Guenther will be sharing tips on SEO for your therapy website. We discuss what SEO can achieve for a therapist's online marketing, if it's possible to learn how to do your own SEO or if you should be hiring someone, 3 examples of specific SEO activities that you can focus on, how important your website design is for SEO, and one thing that you can do right now to take a step towards optimizing your website for search. Let's talk. Hey Jeff, thanks so much for coming today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yay. So we're going to be talking about search engine optimization. And I think one thing that is a mystery to a lot of therapists is what actually can SEO achieve? Like what's the big deal? Why should it be, something that therapists should incorporate into their online marketing strategy? Give us the rundown.
Okay, I'll do my best. I love SEO, so I'm a little biased. But I think that, most people right now are looking for a therapist. The first place that they go is to the internet, and oftentimes they go to Google or some other popular search engine, and they'll type in their keywords, like I'm in Portland, I'm a therapist, and so they might type in therapy for codependency in Portland. And so they're going to type that into Google, and they're going to go ahead and try to find a therapist based on the search results. And if you apply good search engine optimization techniques, then you'll show up on the first page of Google or second or third. So really, it's the first place that people are going. And you can, so it's one of the main places that you can kind of like attract people to your website and build a caseload. And if you show up on, high in search results, then Google and users using the search engine will trust you. There's just sort of like this automatic trust, like, oh, you're showing up on the first page of Google, you must know what you're doing. And maybe that's fair, maybe that's not fair, but there's there's a trust that goes along with showing up high in search results, right? So those are a couple of reasons. And if you show up high, then there's going to be more people, more therapists and wellness providers and other people that maybe like want to link to your page and work with you. And so you'll be seen more in your community. Um, and you can really kind of like target your ideal client. We'll get into this maybe a little bit later, but if you create content and optimize your page for the types of clients that you want to work with, then you can rank for those specific search terms and really target the people that you work best with. So that's sort of like a little short version of why I think search engine optimization is really important.
Yeah, so there are like a lot of benefits, and it seems like most of them revolve around getting known and getting seen.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as therapists, like we're usually best at just like sitting down and talking to our clients and doing that, but we have to do a little bit of marketing and be seen, especially on the internet where people are looking for services.
You have to sit down and talk to Google.
Exactly. I guess that like Google is sort of like one of your clients, somewhat of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
important client, and you should be nice to them and see what you can do for them so that they can rank you high in their search results.
Yeah, it's a perfect
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah, exactly.
So is this something that a therapist could DIY? Like essentially, should therapists that are interested in doing SEO, should they try to learn how to do it themselves? And is it something that's possible to be learned? Or should they just be like, okay, no, this is going to be too much. I should just find an SEO to do this work for me?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I feel like I can go both ways. I encourage people to learn it on their own, but if you decided to reach out to an SEO professional or consultant, then totally fine. If you don't want to like mess with any of this stuff, then you can find somebody else who's going to do it for you. It might end up costing thousands of dollars, so that's something to think about. I actually, if you what I encourage, if people are looking to spend money on this and they don't want to like touch anything on their website, I usually encourage them to go ahead and find somebody who's going to create copy or content for them.
Right, yeah.
Because I think that that actually might be more valuable than like an SEO professional who's going to do some other stuff. Because in the end, if you have good quality content that visitors to your website really like, then Google's probably going to like it and you're going to rank higher. So you can pay for it. However, you can also learn it on your own. And I have a blog where I'm blogging all the time about different ways that you can learn it on your own at thepracticeacademy.com. But you can go ahead and just Google what is SEO, and there'll be like so many articles there and how-to guides that you can read for free. So you can learn all the stuff for free, and then you can start applying it to your website for free, and then you can start moving up in the search engine results for free. So this is sort of like a low cost or no cost way to move up in search results. And Google, sometimes it feels like, oh, Google or Bing, the other search engine, like they're so complicated and we don't know how they're ranking people and who knows how to get onto the first or second or third page of results. But Google doesn't want you to feel overwhelmed. Google's just like, we want to make a completely level playing field where anybody can rank on the first page of Google because they're just trying to figure out what is the intent of the searcher and who can we match them with the best, whether it's like a huge brand or just like a single practitioner. So um, I run this local mental health directory,
Mm-hmm.
portlandtherapycenter.com, and I'm going that mental health directory is going up against Psychology Today and goodtherapy.org. And Psychology Today, like we all know, Psychology Today, tons of magazines and so much content and like thousands of links pointing to their website. But portlandtherapycenter.com is going to rank higher than them typically all the time because Google knows that, oh, it's a smaller mental health directory, but the people of Portland want to see their local practitioners. They probably don't want to see a national directory first. So that's just sort of an example of Google leveling the playing field. And I want to encourage or let everybody know that it's a lot easier than you think. It's going to take time to apply the SEO techniques and to come up with more content and stuff like that, but this isn't impossible, and Google is on your side. So that's what I have to
Aww.
say about that.
No, that's super encouraging because I think that, I mean, I know for me back in the day when I was first starting to learn more about SEO,
Hmm.
it can be very mysterious and you don't really understand every, like you might Google it and read something and just be like, whew, that went like way over my head.
Totally.
So actually, can you
Yes.
like give us like two or three examples of what are like SEO activities that we might do on a therapy website? Like, what
Sure.
are important ones maybe to do?
Okay. Um, and one more point, I guess, before I go into that, which sort of relates to the last question. You should know that when you're competing with other therapists or wellness providers in your field, there might be a lot of therapists like in your town or in your neighborhood or city, but the competition is actually pretty low when it comes to trying to outrank them because a lot of times they're not thinking about search engine optimization, right? Like we said before, they're just like wanting to talk to people on the couch. So it's not like highly competitive, like legal services or used cars or pop culture gossip or something or political stuff. So that should sort of like give you even more motivation that if you just kind of apply some basics and maybe a little bit more, you could rank pretty high relatively quickly, depending on your competition. But your question of like, what are a few things that people can do? Well, I think the number one thing that you can do, which sometimes people sort of get turned off right away when I say this, so please don't get turned off, is you need to create more content. So let's say you're specializing or you're a couples counselor. Okay. So on your website, you might have a homepage and then you have like, individual counseling page and then couples counseling page and, you know, maybe a depression or anxiety page or whatever, and then your contact page. And that's kind of it sometimes. And maybe there's a blog or maybe there's not a blog. But what I recommend is if you're a couples counselor is have that couples counseling page and then have another page, maybe a sub page off of it that's about infidelity and how you treat people that are going through infidelity. And then another page on communication, basic communication styles or attachment, romantic attachment styles. And then another one on divorce or mediation or premarital counseling or open relationships or poly relationships or whatever, just like all the stuff that you would treat, that you would talk about with different couples. So if Google sees that you have your couples counseling page and then all of those other pages, then they're just like, oh, okay, like this person knows what they're doing and they treat all these things, and somebody's going to really be attracted to this website and want to read through all that content. So, the more rich, good content that you have, the better and higher you're going to rank in Google searches. So, that's number one, I think. And number two is going ahead and optimizing and editing your page titles and your page descriptions. So if you optimize your page titles, that's usually, the title that goes up top of the web browser and it shows up like in the big text on search engine result pages. It's like the title of each result. If you edit that with like the keywords, well, keyword search terms, same thing. If you edit that with the search terms that you want people to be typing in and then going to your website for, then that's going to be huge. It's usually the page titles, like the first place that Google stops to really understand what that page is about. So for my couples counseling page, my page title usually is like 60 characters or less. It's going to be something like couples counseling, treating non-monogamous partners in Portland, because maybe that's my specialty or something. And so Google's going to be like, oh, that's what the page title is. This is sort of where they should be ranking for these sorts of search terms. And if you also edit your page description, that's not really something that's going to like boost you in rankings, but that's your like sales copy for the search engine result page. So there's like that page title and then the page description right under it, which is usually like between 140 or 160 characters long, including spaces. And you're going to want to say a little bit more about you. So maybe my page description would be like Jeff Guenther LPC is a trained specialist in couples counseling and treats non-monogamous couples in Portland, Oregon, or something, so that people really kind of like understand what your page is about, and then they'll click through to visit. The third thing that I think people should do, which also feels a little difficult, but maybe like doesn't have to be that difficult, is I think you really need to focus on getting more links to your
Mm.
website. Okay, so if another website links to your website, points to your website, then Google sees that as a vote. And Google's like, oh, here's a vote of confidence for this website. And if you have, 10 links or 20 links or um, 50 links or 100 links, you'd be my hero if you had 100 links as a therapist. Uh, then Google's going to be like, well, all these other people are really confident in this website and they deserve to be ranked really high. And they also it also kind of depends on like what website is linking to. Like Google has a love affair with Wikipedia. So if
Oh.
you, yeah, if you can get Wikipedia to link to your website Google's like, that's it. You're amazing. Because Wikipedia is amazing. If they're linking to you, then you must be amazing. So that's like a really high authority, or like, CNN or something, like a high authority website. Uh, But it's tricky to get a link pointing from Wikipedia to your website. That's a whole other like video conference we could have. But if you get a link from like a shady website, like a link farm, which is like a website that only has links or that has like weird explicit content that's like not feeling very good. If you get like a link from that kind of site, I don't know why you would. This is just an extreme example. Then Google would be like, I don't know, they're kind of shady and you might be kind of shady. Um, so when you get links, kind of, you should ask all your therapist buddies and wellness buddies that have websites to link to you. You can like write blogs for other websites and then they'll link back to you. So whatever you can do to get more links would be really great.
Those are awesome tips.
Thanks.
So they were, just to recap, like they were get like specialization pages and maybe make them subcategories of your services pages,
Right.
optimize your page titles especially, but also your descriptions, and
Hmm.
get backlinks, links back to your
Yes,
site. No, those are
exactly.
awesome. Those are things that, yeah, that's awesome. Those are things that I also am like going crazy over lately for SEO. So, so as because I'm a designer, one thing that I'm
Hmm.
always reading about is like the importance of the user experience to SEO. Can you speak to that at all? Like, how important is your website design to SEO?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's this thing called pogo sticking. And what it is if you go to like Google and you do a search, for a therapist in Portland, and then you click on my therapist website, like jeffguenther.com, if someone were to click on that and be like, oh, this isn't what I was expecting, and then quickly click back to the Google search results, and that's called pogo sticking, because they just click on you and then quickly click back. And the more they do that, then Google is going to be like, I'm not sure if this website is the right one to be ranking highly. So what we're all looking for is the long click. So somebody clicking on your website and staying there and clicking even more pages on your website. And in order for that to happen, it's incredibly important that you have good web design and user experience. Because people are, whether they know it or not, consciously or subconsciously, people are expecting your website to look a specific way. So if it looks really wacky, or if the navigation is hard to understand, or if it doesn't look like a typical therapist website that's clean, easy to navigate, and you can, schedule an appointment, calls to actions, or whatever, then they're going to click back, and Google's going to take note of that. So the the cleaner and the better the user design and web design is, and the higher you're going to rank, because people are going to really like engage with your website. And the longer, the more things that they click, the better it's going to be. And Google also, like Google sends their spiders to crawl the web, and they crawl the web and they bring back all the information to Google servers, and then they categorize all of that information, and then they start putting it into search results. So Google needs to have their spiders visit your website and then easily like find all the pages. And if it's all like funky and designed all weird, and there's like weird, flash animations, or it's hard to get to all the pages, or there isn't like, internal links or something linking to all the other pages, then Google isn't going to be able to crawl all your pages and index all your pages and then rank them appropriately. And even just sort of like, you got to keep up with the trends. Like, obviously, you have to have a mobile website. So your website needs to be able to, shrink up and down depending on like the screen size. And if you don't have a good mobile experience, then people are just going to be like, I don't want to pinch and zoom in order to read this. And Google's also going to be like, nah, like this doesn't feel very easy for people to navigate. So we're not cool with it either. And you're going to like rank lower in the rankings. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. They actually also have a mobile friendliness test. that they put
Yes.
websites through at Google. So
Yes.
you can also use it. I'll put the link in the notes,
Yeah.
and test if your site passes the mobile friendliness test. And it'll tell you too if things are not so good and which things are not so good, and then you can fix them, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this has been a lot of really great information. And what I like to do at the end of these videos is ask for like kind of a core nugget that people can take away with them. So is there one thing that you could recommend for a therapist watching this to do in order to start taking those steps towards optimizing their website for search?
Yeah, sure. Um, right now, with like the pages that you have on your website, go ahead and visit all of your pages that have a lot of content. Like maybe your homepage doesn't have a lot of content. That's okay. But like your services pages or your specialty pages, the issues that you treat, go ahead and look at those pages and make sure that there's like quality content that's, in my opinion, at least like 500 words long because Google really likes it when there's like a good amount of content there, especially on your important pages. So if you have a page on seasonal affective disorder, which everybody in Portland does because we have like the gray cloud for 6 months. It's great for business, seasonal affective disorder.
Hmm.
But you can go to your seasonal affective disorder page and be like, all right, do I have at least 500 words here? And what are the keywords that people are going to be typing in to land on this page? Well, they'll be typing in seasonal affective disorder or depression, or something like that. And are those words in there? Are they in my page title? Are they in my headings and subheadings? And then do I use the synonyms for seasonal affective disorder? So it's going to
Hmm.
be seasonal affective disorders in there, and then winter blues and winter depression, whatever other terms people are typing in, those synonyms also need to be like throughout your content. So I'd say look at all your important pages, make sure there are 500 character or not characters, words or more, and make sure that your keywords and all their synonyms, keywords as in search terms, are in there and organically and naturally throughout your content.
Right. So, I mean, I think this is something that if you're setting out to write 500 words about seasonal affective disorder, that you could probably incorporate these words in a natural way. Like, just
Oh, yeah.
like, how would you talk about this topic to your clients? You know, you might want to use those synonyms, right? Because they might not go around saying, oh, I'm suffering from seasonal affective disorder, everyone. Right? So they
Exactly.
might like also thinking through like what words are on their mind and probably
Mhm.
can really help with that.
Yeah, exactly. What words do they actually use in session with you? Because the
Yeah.
words that they use in session are probably the words that they're typing into search engines because we're so informal and casual with our search engines now.
Yeah.
We use like the same terminology that we use when we're talking to people.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for all this great information. Where
yeah.
can people find you online? Where can they find out more about what you're doing in terms of SEO?
Sure. So you can go to thepracticeacademy.com and it's, remember to type in the at the beginning of it. So thepracticeacademy.com. And you can see my blog there, and I have a bunch of free tips and guides and workbooks that you can download if you look at my blogs. But I also have an online course. So if you go to thepracticeacademy.com and click on courses at the top navigation, then that's where you can purchase the course where I have like 7 modules where I walk you through all of this step by step. And for people that are watching this video, I have a special promo code set up for them where you can type in love50, that's love50, and you get $50 off of the course. And I think it's
Oh,
a fantastic deal.
awesome. And I love the
Yeah,
code.
of course.
Awesome. Yeah. So I will include all of the links in the notes. This video will appear in my blog, so all of the notes will be there. So
All right.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was really fun talking.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
See you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Jeff shared some absolutely awesome tips with us today. To get notes and links from today's session, you can do so at catlove.com/session11. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.